You have a tough job, sir.
Well, nowadays being president of a country is a tough job. Things are changing all the time, and many beyond your control, no? Beyond your local scenario.
This is, of course, the UN General Assembly week. It brings together heads of state, diplomats, CEOs, and investors. You're going to be seeing some of them here in New York City. What are you going to tell them? What is your message?
My message is that this is a good opportunity to do a short review of what happened in Argentina in the last 3 years. We won an election that nobody bet on us, stopping Argentina going the same road of Venezuela, in the same direction of Venezuela. We started restructuring and solving many of the problems that we inherited, especially resolving the problems of default, solving all the capital flow restrictions, exchange rate restrictions, regulatory frameworks, battling against corruption, giving a more transparent scenario for future investments. We were doing very well.
And then?
Growing, 16 was hard, 2017 we were growing, and suddenly foreign things changed, mainly, again, due to issues beyond our control, raising price of fuel, raising interest rates, tensions between China and the States, and the worst drought in 50 years in Argentina that make us lose 30% of the grain production. We rushed into an agreement with IMF that brought certain stability, and we have a second number of storms, the Turkey crisis, the Brazilian financial crisis, and a huge corruption scandal in Argentina that is linked to the past government, not to our government, and that make another moment of turbulence in Argentina. But now we have stabilized the situation. We are going through a new agreement with IMF, and we are viewing a great future for Argentina because, Erik, this is very important. For the first time in our history, we went through all these problems, all these challenges, and we solved them without changing the rules, getting stick to the same rules. Even though we have a lot of pressure of doing, again, hetero things, we continue doing these friendly and global policies. No?
You've given me a number of things to ask questions about. Let's begin with the IMF. A new agreement with the IMF.
Yes.
You had an agreement with the IMF, a $50 billion program. What's the new agreement?
Unique in size and in the timing that we achieved that.
What's the new agreement?
The new agreement is we look forward to give more certainty to the financial program of Argentina next year.
What does that mean? More money?
We will have more support from them.
How much more?
I can't say because they are still negotiating. But that will bring more confidence to the market. And at the same time, we are committed that that plan that we had of 5 years to achieve fiscal balance in our public accounts, we will be done next year. No? So we are doing, as Argentines, we are doing a huge, huge effort.
Mr. President, you want to avoid what happened on August the 29th. Happening again. On August the 29th, you went on national television and you told Argentines that you had an agreement with the IMF for the accelerated disbursement of funds. It turned out there wasn't an agreement, and right here we're talking about a new agreement with the IMF, and we haven't heard anything from the IMF. Are you absolutely certain that the IMF is going to give you more money, and it's going to give you that money on a faster timetable?
We are negotiating that. We have been negotiating since I announced it, and we are close to find an agreement. And that will benefit the program, and if it benefit the program, will benefit Argentina.
Every single dollar counts. There are some people who will say, if you get $5 billion in additional funding from the IMF, that's not enough. That if you're going to meet the principal and interest payments on your US dollar-denominated debt next year, $24 billion, you're going to need 10, maybe $15 billion more. Which is it, 5 or 15? Or is it somewhere in the middle?
Don't be so anxious. Don't be so anxious. In a couple of days, you will know. You will know. And I think, I'm confident that will be something that will guarantee and will find a room for a new relationship with the market in more stable terms, and Argentina will reestablish our economy, and after a process of some more months of recession, Argentina will restart growing again, reducing inflation, reducing taxes, and allowing new investors to come and partner with us in mining, in energy, in agribusiness, in tourism. That will be a great opportunity in Argentina.
Given the pace at which things have deteriorated over the past 5 months,
yes,
it is difficult to predict with any confidence what's going to happen in 2019. What if, even with additional funding from the IMF, you find yourself short of dollars? What will you do to keep Argentina from defaulting?
There is no chance for Argentina to default. There's no chance.
Zero.
Zero. With the level of support that we are receiving from the countries, especially from the United States of America, and the level of commitment of my government and our citizens with this new exchange rate, Argentina has a very competitive exchange rate. So we are balancing our foreign accounts, okay? Exports are growing at the speed of 18 to 20%. And that shows that the numbers are starting to work very well. And fortunately, I touch wood, I don't know where you can find, the weather forecast shows that we are not going to have neither droughts, neither floodings. So the most important Argentine production, that is the grains, are going to rocket to a new record of production.
Given that the Argentine peso is where it is, 50% weaker than it was at the beginning of the year.
Yes.
And as you point out, it has made exports more competitive.
Absolutely.
Would it make sense now to introduce some currency controls to prevent the kind of volatility that the currency has undergone over the past 5 months?
Not really controls, no, not again something related like the convertibility, okay? We are working with IMF, the IMF team, and we are going to present something that will bring confidence, more confidence than we had started to have in the last 10 days, because in the last 10 days, markets had changed, turned around, and things are moving better, no?
But it's important for people to understand, Mr. President, if convertibility is something that Argentina has experimented with, and that was not a success, what kinds of controls or limitations might you impose on the currency market to prevent the kind of volatility that a peso has
I don't want to advance any detail of the agreement. Let's wait for the agreement. So you will not
But it will involve some kind of foreign exchange control.
What it will involve is a very clear monetary policy that will show where we are going. That's the most important part of the agreement. That we show that we are really going to drop dramatically down the inflation and our needs for external financial support.
If you look at the economy right now, Mr. President, is the worst over? Is it going to start getting better, or have you not seen the bottom yet?
I feel that we are going to go through, let's say, a process of 4 or 5 months more of recession, but then with the increasing exports, the increasing production of energy, Vaca Muerta is a huge success for the spectators. Vaca Muerta is a huge shale and oil gas reserve. And it's producing incredible results that will allow us to export in 3 years more than $50 billion, and in 7, more than $40 billion. Argentina is going to come to be a big player in the oil and gas market. So all those things are going on. So it's quite incredible, no? Because in the middle of these 5 months that have been really tough for Argentinians, and I'm really glad and honor of how they had stand at this process. In the similar moment, all those strategic areas had continued to work very well, very, very well. So we have the basis in which we are going to start growing. No?
You believe you can turn it around in the 15 months you have left in office?
Absolutely, absolutely, and without changing the rules. That never happened before in Argentina. Similar crisis, Argentina turned to put capital controls, few exchange rates, modifications in the financial system. We didn't do any of those stupid things that we had done in the past. We have stuck to the rules, being focused on being global more and more every day, to integrate to the world, to create confidence in what we are doing. And the only thing was that in result of having received the cut of the credit, as it happened in general in all emerging markets, but especially in Argentina because it was the one that was demanding more financing, we accelerate the program of balancing our state accounts.
Given what you're trying to do, Argentines know what to expect, at least through the end of the year, if not longer. Inflation is still at brutal levels, the highest of your presidency. Interest rates are at a crippling level. Taxes are rising, at the least on exports. You've imposed some export taxes.
Yes, well, it's an emergency for a period of time, but all the other taxes are continue to be reduced.
You're trying to shrink the size of the government, and of course, the peso has collapsed. That may be what the economy needs, harsh medicine. Is it also political suicide?
No, not at all, because the level of maturation of our citizens make us all understand what we inherited and that there is no shortcut to solve them, all the problems that we inherited. There is no way to trick again. So we need to solve our problems. We cannot continue to expend more than we collect, especially that our state collects too many and high taxes. So what we are talking about is to do our homework. And we understood that, and we are doing the homework. That's why I still have a level of support that, compared with the region, is unbelievable. No? We are talking about 38 to 40% support with having done all these reforms, very painful reforms.
You believe
but the only way. This is the only road that will take Argentina to the future, to a great, great future.
That may be the case, but will it take Mauricio Macri to a second term?
And we will be there offering the Argentines to continue working together. And
You're going to run?
I'm ready to run. As I always said, I'm ready to run.
But running on a campaign of austerity and tough measures is a difficult thing to do.
It's difficult, obviously. The times that are going by in Argentina are difficult, but we are building a new country. We are building a new society based in the culture of work, in the self-effort, in trying to understand that we have to improve every day, and we don't have to be stuck to any tricky tool. No, we have to tell the truth and work in that sense, and that's what I'm doing. I have been telling the truth to my citizens from the very beginning, and this is the only way, and this is the right effort. We are doing the right effort in the right place, and the results are going to come, and the results are going to be something wonderful for us, and especially for our sons.
I once asked you if there was a plan B, and you said there was no plan B.
No plan B.
Well, no plan B has brought Argentina to where it is today. Have you thought that maybe it might be time to have a plan B in my back pocket?
We are reacting to all the different challenges that we are suffering, and each time you go through a new obstacle, you get stronger. Argentina today is stronger than 1 year ago because we went through 5 external storms, 5, and we're still here.
We began this conversation by you telling me that your message was that Argentina was not going to go where Venezuela has gone.
Absolutely.
Venezuela is in a desperate situation.
Absolutely.
Are you prepared to accept the need for military intervention in Venezuela?
No, we are not ready. We are not ready.
Not ready.
I think that we need Venezuela to accept the humanitarian crisis so we can help more.
And if it doesn't, what would it take to require military intervention? What would it take for you to support that?
First, we are denouncing Venezuela at the international stages because they are violating the human rights of the Venezuelans. So Maduro is violating daily the human rights. So I expect that the level of punishment of the rest of the world will be solidarity with the Venezuelans that are suffering the consequences of these awful dictatorships. That this is our focus now.